Hello, 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 everybody. It's JJ Conway. Before we get into tonight's lesson, I've got a couple of announcements for you. If you can hear me okay, go ahead and drop me some likes, loves, good stuff in the chat so I know that you can hear me all right. I'm going to drop in the chat some links. There we go. That should be making its way to you right now. Some links to let you know that correspond to my announcements that we're going to have. So the couple of announcements that I want to focus on tonight, I know we're starting a little bit late. I had to get a few things straightened out for the upcoming conferences because I wanted to make sure everything was straight for you when I announced it. And turned out, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, before we get into tonight's lesson, I've got a couple of announcements for you. First of all, we have moved the Healing My Sisters Virtual Summit and Reconnect with Myself retreat. It will no longer be hosted by my company, Building Wealth Together. Although I believe that healing from trauma is an important step to unlocking our wealth building superpower, this conference and the retreat, they really fall under my ministry, the outreach ministry. Hey, how you doing? They really fall under the outreach ministry. So what I've done is, as I'm going into 2022, y'all have noticed I've been doing a lot of things to realign my business. And so I'm taking the Healing My Sisters effort, that virtual summit and book anthology. We're realigning it to fall under my church as a women's outreach. And then we've also moved the date to align with my family's spring break every year. So for 2022, we're going to be conducting those the week of March the 10th through the 12th with the live event taking place in Tampa, Florida. So last year we were in Galveston Island, or this year, we were in Galveston Island. In the years previous to COVID, we would go up to Hot Springs. That's how this got started. And I'm really excited about this. I know one of my favorite parts of the Reconnect with Myself retreat is always celebrating my birthday dinner, right? And my husband and I were talking about this, and I said, I don't use my real birthday on the internet. I use a birthday in March. So I could actually still celebrate my birthday dinner as part of my retreat. So we're going to be doing that. It's going to be March. It's going to be March 10th through 12th. We're going to have the virtual component. You can pre-record your talks, those of you who are coming to talk to it, but you can also come in person. And because this is under the banner of the ministry, and because this is an outreach for ministry, the costs are much, much lower than speaking at my other events. All right. And so let me just tell you a little bit about this conference. All right. So I want to invite those of you who are watching, those of you who are new to me, I want to invite you to join me for the Healing My Sisters Virtual Summit. And first, I want to tell you a little bit about the conference, okay? I had a series of car accidents in 2014, 2016, and 2017. Each had progressively worse symptoms. And in November 2017, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So 6 months after that accident, I got a devastating diagnosis from the neurologist. In fact, they gave me 3 diagnoses and 1 concern, and it was basically like, your life is over. And the neurologist was basically like, take the time you have left with your mind and go enjoy your kids. Don't worry about anything else, and just go spend some time with your kids, because you're not going to be around much longer. You're going to be a vegetable pretty soon. That's basically what they said. And for the military, I still wasn't better by February, March of the next year, and they decided to medically board me. And that was going to end my career. And I really needed to be encouraged, not only because this career was something that I really didn't realize that all my self-confidence was built up in, but my self-confidence was really wrapped up in having done these amazing things in the Air Force. And I wish I could tell you all about them, but it's just some things you just do, and they just become a part of who you are. And we really begin to identify with things that are external to ourselves. And when that's taken away from us, now all of a sudden our world comes crashing down. And that's what happened to me. I was the deputy chief scientist to for a major command at one point, and then when this car accident happened, I was actually in charge of a very high level review committee for electronics in some of our most sensitive locations in the nation. And so for me to be that person and then turn around and have all of that stripped away, my ability to cogitate in that way and to think in those scientific and technical ways, it just reduced me to nothing. And I thought my life was over. And not only did I think that my life was over, but I felt like everyone around me thought my life was over because the military kind of took me out of my job at that point. I had just transitioned from that high level committee chair that I told you about to being the chief of protocol. I mean, I just transitioned to that, was kicking butt and taking names. And then I had this accident happen. And let me tell you what, I was kicking butt all right, but it wasn't in a good way. I was not very good boss to my people. My ability to lead was just degrading rapidly. My decision making was degrading rapidly. And of course, my husband was in another state. Just and so the military said, we are not getting anywhere with her. They picked me up and put me in another job for 4 months with no duties assigned because they thought I was going to be put out of the military. And it just felt like being put out to pasture. And if you've never had like a stroke or an aneurysm or a TBI or any of those kinds of things, you may not understand what I'm talking about. But just to kind of give an example, like if you ask me, what's today's date, and I would think to myself, okay, what is today's date? What is today's date? And it would take a long time and to come up to me, okay, it's the ninth. But by time the phrase "it's the ninth" would get into my brain, whoever's asking me the question would have already gone on to something else. And then if I could get it out, my brain would be thinking ninth, but my mouth might say like 20th. It was the most frustrating thing I had ever had happen. And I have made in the 4.5 years since that car accident, I have made so much progress that most people don't even know I was in that condition. The poor people who worked for me, man, I feel so bad for them. The poor people who worked for me, they knew my mind was a big bowl of mush, right? And then that's why they put me aside. And so I know I'm spending more time on that than I really wanted to. But the bottom line was I was not better by March of 2018. And they decided they were going to medically board me. And I felt like my life was over and I needed to be encouraged. And so I did something that I'd seen other people do. I decided I was going to shake the trees and find as many people who had overcome trauma to come together in a conference and tell me how they did it. Now, they didn't know that they were encouraging me. They didn't know that I was the one that needed to hear their messages. What they knew was they were emerging speakers and somebody was offering them a platform, and they blessed my soul. And every year, we've done 4 of them now, we're planning for the 5th. Every year, the speakers have been so amazing that I almost burst into tears yesterday trying to figure out who was going to be on the main page because I have limited slots in the template, but everybody's talk was so powerful. And just people who overcame such great things. Darla, who walked 6 miles to get to college and had to figure out how to handle her children. People who overcame having their innards suddenly ripped out due to autoimmune accidents. People who lost abilities to do certain things in their job. People who were attacked in the worst possible ways. People who lost jobs and family and everything that was dear to them and had to pick up their life and start over. And each one of them had a story of victory. And their stories of victory encouraged my soul. And now you fast forward a couple years and you wouldn't even know how bad my car accident was because I have stood on the word of their testimonies. And I thought to myself, if they can get better, I can get better. If they can adapt to their new normal, I can adapt to my new normal. And that's exactly what I've done. So I am specifically looking for speakers who have overcome the gut punches of life, who've turned trauma into triumph and can now share their story in that powerful way that'll move the needle forward in the lives of others. So this conference, the execution of it, it's going to be virtual like it always has been, even before COVID. Healing My Sisters was a virtual summit. But we're also going to have live event speakers. Now, because this is being moved to the banner of my ministry, the ministry is going to cover a certain fee. So there's no charge to speak, whether you're virtual or whether you're live. However, you will not be able to sell at that free speaking engagement level. Okay, so if you're speaking live and you want to have the professional video and photos, there'll be a cost share to help cover the cost of the AV team. For those of you who want to sell, and I honestly believe that most people make faster progress when they've had to invest in themselves as opposed to just soaking in the free stuff, right? There is a $199 seller's license that you can add on. And regardless of whether you sell, whether you're virtual, whether you're live in person, for all speakers, there is an opportunity for you to add your talk, have it transcribed as a chapter in our book anthology. All right. And so here's a really uh-oh. Do I not have it? Where is it? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I hope I'm still on. um, you have the opportunity to be in the Healing My Sisters anthology. So let me say that again because I want to extract this and put this on the conference page. Regardless of whether you speak to sell, speak virtually, speak live in person, you have the opportunity to take your talk and have it transcribed as a chapter in our Healing My Sisters book. This is my first one. It's actually my favoriteest one. This book anthology has the speakers, the interviews of each of the speakers, as well as some writing that I did as well, for myself and with the help of some mentors. Okay. And so you'll see the different interviews in here that we had, those who had straight talks that was just transcribed as a chapter. You'll have that opportunity for a small add-on fee. And this book, so the conference is in March, this book is produced and delivered to be launched 1 October or soon thereafter for domestic violence. Because what I do, and each author can choose to do what they want, but what I do is I sell this book. I do a community event where we bring in the helping agencies, and we're basically doing an education fair to let people know about the resources available to them to help with supporting for domestic violence and abuse situations. And the proceeds from the sale of this book, 100% of the profit from the sale of this book goes to supporting those agencies. And so I don't require the authors, the contributing authors, to do that, but I encourage them to do so. Okay. Woohoo, Miss Jackie, I'm counting you in. All right, all right. This is it's such a powerful, it's one of the most powerful things that I do. And I did, like I said in the beginning, for those of you who weren't on, this has always been something that was sponsored by Building Wealth Together. And then we would roll from the healing conference into the Reconnect with Myself retreat, which was sponsored by the Elect Ladies department of my church when I was the pastor in Bossier City for 4 years. And so, that was they are a natural fit together. And so we're going to be doing that in March. And I really want to encourage you to participate. Okay. I really, really want to encourage you to participate, whether you attend, whether you are an ambassador who spreads the word about the event, whether you speak, whether you write, whether you simply hold us up in prayer. I want you to help contribute to this event, reaching more women and changing more lives. Woo! Let me put that link up so that you can check that out. So if this is really speaking to you and you're like, I want to be in, and your heart is telling you, I want to be a part of it, go ahead and go now to reconnectwithmyself.com. And that will take you to where you can learn more about the conference. You can click on the links to apply to speak. You can click on the links to you can click on the link to apply to speak. You should be able to click on a link to get your free ticket. That's what I meant to say. It's a free ticket to watch it virtually. Okay. And now once we get the details for the Tampa event, then we're going to set the fee for attending in person. But attending in person is not going to be free. Okay. People are going to be sharing some very personal stories. And we want you to cover your materials fees. We want you to cover your meal, right? Like, we want you to cover your meal. We're covering the venue, but we want you to cover those things. And if you came to Galveston If you came to Galveston, you know how powerful, this is. Last year, this year in Galveston, we did healing shame through fire. We did all kinds of things with the leading of the Holy Spirit to help us really let go of all of these issues in our lives and to begin to move forward. Okay. And so you can get your free ticket and apply to speak at reconnectwithmyself.com. If you want to check out this, wrong one. If you want to check out this book, you can get this book on Amazon. It's both in Kindle and print formats, and that's at jjclink.com/HMS Now, whether or not this year's or next year's book goes on Kindle and is for sale through Amazon is going to depend on the kind of engagement we get from the authors. Okay. Some years the book is slimmer and I just do a run to sell at my event, right? And send to the authors. Some years it's nice and juicy like this, and then I feel more comfortable selling it, because in order for it to be a fundraiser, I got to sell it for a high price. See, I'm not selling this for $2, right? Because we're not, this isn't about it. It did become a number one bestseller, but this isn't about becoming a number one bestseller. This is about changing lives. And I'm changing lives. When people buy the book, I'm taking that money and I'm taking it to people who are changing lives. I'm taking it to people who are offering clothing, who are offering assistance, who are offering counseling. Like, that's what this book is paying for. And I can't in good faith say, give me, well, I could, but I don't want to. I don't want to say, and I don't want to say, give me $20 for a book and it's got 10 pages. Or it's got one interview, right? Like, I don't want to do that. I want it to be juicy and meaty. So some years it's not out there, but I believe this year it is. And I've already got some good commitments. All right. I didn't mean to go into all that. I'm just so excited. Can you tell how excited I am? I'm so excited about this. And I'm super excited about moving it to spring break with my family, because this way my family can attend. See, in the past, my family couldn't attend, or sometimes I just brought the little one. But as we begin to plan for the future, we got to think more strategically, right? And so I was telling my husband, I was like, strategically thinking long term, as I start to build in systems and as I start to be able to transition things to other people who help support my team, right? And it's not just me doing everything anymore and getting in a battle rhythm. I have to think strategically. Well, strategically, Cubby was cute when he was 5 years old, staying in my room with all the ladies, right? But Cubby's not going to be cute at 10. He's probably going to be as tall as I am, and the ladies aren't going to want to have him in our villa while we're reconnecting with ourselves and we're doing the painting and we're burning the fire and we're purging our souls and purging our hearts of all this negativity. Like we don't want teenage boys running around during all that, right? So this way my family can still get a benefit and me not have to worry about them, because they can be with their dad whether they come with me or not, right? They can be with their dad, and I can do what I was called to do. And we still gonna have some kind of birthday dinner, y'all. And if we're in Tampa, I want to go out to Burns, and I want to go to that what is it called? Harry Wah dessert room. I want to go upstairs to that dessert room, y'all. We gonna have a good time. All right. So if you're at or near the Tampa area, or if you can get to the Tampa area, you want to be at the Healing My Sisters Virtual Summit. All right. All right. Well, that was a lot longer. Wow, that was 18 minutes. Oh man, y'all, these lessons tonight are good though. They're juicy, but I still have some more announcements, so I'm gonna try to be faster. I promise. Okay, the next announcement is that we opened up the call for Women Building Wealth Together, and I've already got a lot of speakers signed up for their auditions. Okay, so if you missed out on the last conference, don't you miss out on this one. Even if you're unsure of all the details, suspend the need to know how and jump in and get on this. And somebody tonight signed up for a speaker audition all the way in February. I'm gonna tell you right now, the juiciest spots are already going to be gone by then. By the time we get to February, some people are going to already have 1 or 2 or 3 graphics out. You don't want to jump in at the last minute and then you have to hurry up and get your talk together and you missed out on 2 or 3 graphics that everybody else got, right? You want to jump in now so you get all the speaker trainings live instead of having to watch them all after the fact so that you can get all the juicy goodness now. Don't miss out. Take advantage of the time we have now and go ahead and apply for Women Building Wealth Together. This is going to be an all virtual event. There's going to be both a pre-recorded and a live stream component, and it's going to be May 4th through 6th, which some of you might remember. That's the week of Mother's Day. That's when we used to do Healing My Sisters. Healing My Sisters was always the week of Mother's Day, right? But now the week of Mother's Day is going to be the Women Building Wealth Together. April, you might think, oh, she skipped April. No, April's our Global Youth Initiative. So you'll find more information about that, but I'm not calling for speakers, and that's a local event, right? So the May will be Women Building Wealth Together, May 4th through 6th. It's going to be a virtual event. There will be a pre-recorded portion, and then there will be a live stream portion. So especially if you want to sell something to the audience, you want to do that live stream. It's got the highest return on investment. It's got the highest return of engagement with your audience. Okay. Men are welcome to speak as well, as long as their topic speaks to the particular struggles, the cultural struggles that women face in building wealth. Now you say, oh, well, we've got a much more advanced and tolerant society. You would be shocked at how many people come up to me and they're kind of like on the down low. Like I watch your videos. They're amazing. I sneak and watch your videos. Like people, we think we're so empowered. We think women have really got there. We think that women have busted through the glass ceilings, but there is still a lot of cultural expectations that women don't handle money and women don't do this and women don't do that. And it might just be my age bracket and a slightly more mature, but the fact that it still exists, that people are almost hesitant to say they watch my videos, that tells me we still got some cultural struggles. So if you are a man that wants to come in and you can speak and understanding those cultural struggles, then we welcome you with open arms. In fact, I was so excited when I was talking with Dr. Jonas and he started to bring up the things about women being perceived as aggressive instead of as confident when they do the same things as a man. Oh, I was like, whoo, he gets it. All right. So if that's you and you want to be at this, if you are a woman or a man who wants to speak at the Women Building Wealth Together, there's the link. Okay. Last announcement. I promise. All right. Last announcement. Okay. So those of you who are new to my Thursday night classes, tonight we're doing Countdown to Your Best Year Ever. But for those of you who've been with me for a while, you're going to notice a change in 2022. And I've been rolling these changes out slowly, right? Like every week I'm announcing some new changes. I think I've already announced this one, but I'm not so sure. So we're not going to have the Saturday morning classes anymore. We may still do the Saturday Juice with JJ that we turn into the podcast, but we're not going to do the real estate investing classes on Saturday. We're not going to do the entrepreneurship classes on Saturday. Somehow with COVID and everything happening, people do not want to sit on a Zoom on a Saturday morning anymore. So we're going to move them back to Thursdays, which is what we usually did. So aside from football season, we're going to go back to Thursday nights. First Thursday is going to continue being Fireside Chat. It's been Fireside Chat for what, 7 years now, right? Second Thursday is going to be Real Success Mentoring Class of the Month. It's kind of like what we're doing tonight, okay? Although in December, all of my lessons are Countdown to Your Best Year Ever, other than the Fireside Chat. And so we're doing a special thing to kick off the new year. But once we get into the new year, the second Thursday is going to be our Real Success Mentoring. The third Thursday is going to go back to being real estate investing, y'all. That's how we started building wealth together in Alexandria, Virginia. Every third Thursday, right? We're going to go back to our roots. We're going to go back to real estate investing every third Thursday. And every fourth Thursday is going to be the Empowered Entrepreneur, which is basically what the Building Wealth Together Saturday morning classes used to be. So I've got a poll in our Facebook group, Building Wealth Together, that I would love for you to vote on your favorite topics. We're going to be talking about coaching. We're going to talk about public speaking, professional speaking. We're going to talk about writing. We're going to talk about all of these different topics. And I want you to check out that poll and let me know which ones are most important for you. Okay. I think that's it for the announcements. All right. So now let's go ahead and get into our lesson for tonight. So, like I said earlier, tonight we're doing Countdown to Your Best Year Ever. This is the pre-work that makes the dream work when you set your goals and your intentions for 2022. Okay. A lot of times, we get started with our vision boards and we do our New Year's resolutions, and then we get some people who do all of that at the beginning of the year. We do some people who do all that at the end of December. We get some people who say in August, if you haven't already planned out your 2022, you're behind the power curve. I'm not in that camp, honestly, because I was still trying to figure out my 2021 in August, right? But that all said, when we sit down and we really look into certain principles and we begin to reflect on these principles, it unlocks the power of all the other things that we do to welcome in the new year. So if you're going to join me and my church in fasting in January, you don't want to just go into the fast and just fast because we're fasting. You want to have an intention, and you want to have understand, what spiritual growth am I looking to get out of this? What spiritual questions do I have to answer? If you're looking to have a fitness or a weight loss goal as we go into 2022, you don't want to just say, okay, I want to lose weight, because I can cut your hair off. I was about to say I can snatch that weave off. I mean, I can cut your hair off, and that's like 3 pounds right there, okay? But that's not what you meant when you said you wanted to lose weight, right? That's not what you meant. And so we want to get real specific about what it is we want. Okay. And so we want to understand having this intentionality, but a lot of times we have intentionality, but we don't have the underlying foundation. Oops. Well, you know what? Somebody scheduled. I don't know how they got on my schedule, but somebody scheduled a call during this class, and they are not going to get a call during this class. I am so sorry. I don't even know how you scheduled it, because it shouldn't have been free on my calendar. And if you're watching, please forgive me. I promise I'm gonna call them back and make it right. But I don't even know how they got on there. Uh, I'm all embarrassed now. I'm like saying this all live. Like, if somebody's live, you can't take it away, right? Okay. Let me get back to business here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about two of these principles. We're going to talk about the role of vision, and we're going to talk about, drum roll, persistence. Woo! My. It's going to be juicy, y'all. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, because we are putting these recordings as standalone lessons in the portal. I'm going to start over as if I hadn't said anything for the last 27 minutes. Okay. Hello and welcome. I'm JJ Conway, and in this lesson today, I'm going to talk to you about power principle number 3, the role of vision in living a successful and rewarding life. Now, this is without a doubt one of the fundamental lessons within a learning model of achievement. We've talked over the last year about how we can have these learning models in our lives. And these learning models in our lives can lead us to feel like we can achieve, or that we're just a failure, or some level in between. And like the other power principles, this lesson has had a major impact on my life and every area of my life in overcoming those learning models of failure that were programmed into me at an early age, and shifting them into learning models of success and achievement. So when I first became aware of creating a vision, and you gotta understand where I was in my life at that time. Okay. I was 35 years old. I had just gotten divorced and become everything that I had worked so hard all my life not to become. I was a single Black mom in more debt than I ever thought I could get out of. And having to go ask for help and having to humble myself. It was just one of the worst times in my life. And I was also, that was on the personal front. But in the ministry front, I was realizing that I really hadn't built relationships that I thought I had with the what do you call it? The ecclesiasta, the other ministers and the elders. Like, when you go through a divorce, it's like you almost have to fight for custody of your friends. Has anybody else been through that, right? So you have some people go with this spouse, and some people go with that spouse, and some people don't want to be in the middle, and they don't want to make a decision, so they just say, well, I love both y'all. And we all know how well that works out, right? but but in the personal front and in the ministry front, my life was falling apart. And then in the military, I was realizing I wasn't military enough to get where I wanted to go in my career. And so at this point, even though I had always thought that one day I would be rich and I had this kind of a dream of getting rich, I really had no picture or vision of what that really looked like in my life. Because every time I turned around, something else was getting worse and worse. Things were just continually getting worse and worse. And I think that's the big difference between wishing or dreaming and having a vision. And as I began to understand this idea, this power principle, I I realized I didn't just want financial prosperity. I wanted meaningful relationships. I wanted a healthy lifestyle. I wanted to have a connection with God that had been struggling in my life as my marriage fell apart. My my vision, my vision for my life went much deeper than anything I had experienced before, and it went deeper than any get rich quick scheme, and it went deeper than the superficial bonds that form between people who are helping each other get ahead, such as the bonds that had built traveling with my ex-husband and helping run all these revivals and working with the kids while the elder taught and my ex-husband played, and thinking I was building relationships, but I wasn't building relationships. A vision a vision is something that emerges from our soul. It starts to take on a form and a shape, and we can begin to see a life beyond our current circumstances and conditions. When we begin to identify our talents and our resources that are hiding just below our consciousness, and we begin to act with informed or knowledgeable purpose, and the vision provides the highest guiding light for our emerging future. Once I started to find ways to really bring order to what was disorganized thinking and to really bring order to my decision making, I began to become aware of not only what some of my goals were, but I became crystal clear on who I was and what I was here to do. Now, I'm going to take a quick pause here because um, StreamYard is giving me some error messages, and it's telling me that it can't port to Facebook anymore. And I'm not sure what to do about that. So, what I'm going to do is try to use my phone to see. And if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay, I'm plugged into the internet, so I'm not on Wi-Fi right now. But if you can hear or see me, please drop something in the chat because I've never seen StreamYard do that. It says that YouTube is working just fine. So I don't want to like cut off the recording. It says YouTube is working fine, but I'm actually not seeing this on my Facebook channel. So I'm not even sure how to handle that. Let me make sure I'm on the internet. Yeah, the internet's going. I'm plugged in. I've got internet access. And oh dear. Well, you know what? We may not be able to finish this because nobody's responding. So I kind of feel like maybe you guys can't see me or anything, right? Let's see. Okay. Nope, that's the pie. That's the pie video. Wow. Well, this is really awkward. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and just finish this principle because at least on YouTube it says I'm still recording. And hopefully you guys will get a chance to see this, all right? So let me just be silent for a second so when I'm doing my editing, I'll know to cut all that out. Oh dear. Hmm. Let me see if it'll let me view it on Facebook. Nope, it's not letting me do it. Okay. All right. Well, we're live on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, I apologize for all that, but I just, I don't know what to do. I've never had that happen before. Okay. So, oh well. Once I started to find ways to bring order to my thinking, bring order to my distracted and disorderly thinking. And once I found ways to bring order to my decision making, then I began to become aware of not only what some of my goals were, but it also led me to become crystal clear on who I was and what I was here to do. It's my purpose. That's our purpose. And I've heard my mentor John Maxwell say that two of the most important days of our lives are the day we were born and the day we find out why. And one of our country's most compelling examples of vision was expressed in President Kennedy's charge to NASA that the United States get to the moon by the end of the 1960s. During a speech in 1961 to Congress, he said that nothing will be more impressive to mankind and none will be so difficult or expensive to accomplish. He also said that we aspire to do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. And his vision for the nation was specific, it was clear, and it was delivered with passion and faith that comes with vision. It wasn't a pipe dream or a wish where people didn't really expect the plan to be fully acted out. See, instead, it was already envisioned and embraced by NASA's employees, from its top level administrators all the way down to the janitorial staff. They understood the vision, they understood the responsibility in achieving the vision, even though they had no idea of how they were going to do it. And that's where many of us, I think, get bogged down, isn't it? I know for me, in my own life, I tend to be a little bit left brain, and I often get caught up in how am I going to do that? In fact, we're naturally taught to consider the how first. We allow these voices from our past, right? Our parents, our teachers, employers, other people to really temper our aspirations with their self doubt, with their cynicism, with their skepticism, and maybe even with their negative self judgment. We become conditioned not to get our hopes up. We self-censor our visions before they can even rise fully into our conscious awareness. True vision has been written about for hundreds of years, even in ancient times. I mean, you can even go back to the Bible, Proverbs 21. It's a great chapter. There's a lot of good nuggets in there. And one of those is verse 18, where there's no vision, the people perish. Now you might have wondered, as some of us did when we were kids, what did that really mean, right? Was that literally people would die? Well, I've come to understand that it's even worse. They don't die, but they live with a lack of awareness of their true God-given potential. Another mentor, Les Brown, made an observation one time. He said that some people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. What he means is that without vision, people genuinely have no future. That without vision, they are cast upon the junk heap of life. And without vision, they become a liability to society rather than an asset to those around them. Without vision, their mentality is more about existing than truly living, and that is perishing. The verse assumes that there's a vision to be revealed in all of us. One has to have a purpose and promise. The vision of a revelation from God makes a person walk a certain path. You know, one of the things that we've done in the military is we've developed a missile designed after the human mind. You know, it tracks its target in whatever direction is moved, and when that target disappears from the missile's vision, many of them are programmed to self-destruct, right? And so this particular missile was designed after the human mind. And for you and I, without a vision in our lives, we easily wander off course and we face the same fate. We self destruct. Vision is a useful and powerful tool in the learning model of success to guide and direct us towards living a meaningful life. Vision allows us to connect with our purpose and become very clear of our goals. As I've coached and mentored people all over the world, I've learned that identifying one's purpose at first can seem daunting. But don't worry, your vision will help you identify it. Your vision is your way to attain the unattainable. It's your ability to reach God's consciousness, the ultimate presence that exists above and beyond our awareness, above and beyond our conditions and our circumstances. And as you'll hear me say many times during these lessons, your current circumstances, my current circumstances, they'll never be able to predict what you and I are capable of doing in our lives. The formulation Articulation and application of a vision is an exercise truly of the law of cause and effect. The internal vision that we become aware of, that we co create in our life, is the cause. And the external expression of that vision, which we define as results, is the effect. The results of our life will always be an expression of what we truly believe is possible in our lives. And that belief and possibility begins with a fortified vision for our lives. When there is a true vision or revelation of one's higher power, of the voice of God within us, it has the power to motivate us, inspire us, but only if we have an awareness of it and a reverence to conduct our lives in harmony with our highest good. People who live and operate without vision have a propensity to engage in self destructive behavior, procrastination, and negativity. They act out of blindness. They will not discipline themselves to take proper responsibility, and the result is that they perish. Quite a contrast to the satisfying result a person experiences when they are living in and from their vision. See, there can be no doubt of what a vision produces. And the beautiful thing about vision is that you don't have to go searching for it, it's already within you. It's not as much about finding a vision as much as it is about discovering the vision that has been inside you all along. Its finer points will undoubtedly change and evolve over time, but if allowed, its foundation will bring order, focus, and cohesiveness to all aspects of your life. And here's how. Vision is the conscious awareness of our desires and possibilities blended with the gift of imagination. Vision is our ability to create our future with passion today. But vision is not just a destination, it's also a powerful tool that allows us to engage in all of our senses, our resources, and our emotions into this realization. So, vision not only yields a mental picture of our future result, but also a mental construction of the sights, sounds, feelings, emotions, vibrations, frequencies. It sets up the expectation for success. And in that, your mind begins to exhibit that energy, that vibration, that frequency of expectation for success. And as the mind works through the problems of the positive and all of the things that you want to work out, they're imprinted upon you and extended out in your energy to the universe. Much like when you're having a bad day, that energy is extended out to the universe. And when you're having a great day, that energy is extended out to the universe. So also that expectation of success is an energy that's extended out to the universe. Athletes often use their vision to improve their performance. So you might see an Olympic skier, for example, close their eyes and quite literally see the vision of the run down the mountain. She can see and feel her performance, the cuts, the leans, the wind blowing by, and she begins to engage all the muscles as though she was actually making each turn on the run, and she sees the outcome. She actually feels the exhilaration of the wind. You see, experience through imagination, science has shown, is experience nonetheless. So, in the context of the power principles, this internal aspect of your vision is who you become. The external aspect of your vision is what you create and achieve. Your internal vision is the mental model of perfection that you co create in your life. This living into your full potential in your most productive and fulfilling, uh, future, your most productive and fulfilling life, it is indeed your most productive and fulfilling venture. It's the most productive and fulfilling thing that you take on. It is the image of the person you would be beyond your limiting self beliefs, your fears, doubts, self judgments. It is the true, powerful, compassionate, creative, caring, resource driven person that you are when you are completely present at your fullest potential. Your external vision is the expression and manifestation of your internal vision. In essence, it's the results that you get in every area of your life. And this includes results that you've realized in your relationships, in your spiritual growth, in the health of your physical body, and what you create in terms of your financial and material wealth. This is the beauty of transformation. The path of vision and the power principles allows you to transform internally and thereby alter your external results, creating the change you desire in life. If you're like most people, thinking about and visualizing the external, our goals and dreams, it may be more attractive at first, right? Looking at what's out there, what we want to see. But soon you'll realize that the real benefit of holding and living from your vision is actually internal. It's about who you become. See, if our vision is purely external, in other words, if we're focusing exclusively on the outward achievement, the getting of the physical results, we may never grow to be the person who can create and manifest these things internally in our lives. So I'm encouraging you today. We want to be very intentive. We want to be very vigilant of our inner world. Your vision allows you to become who you want to become in your thoughts, in your character, in your beliefs, in your awareness, and in your actions. So never lose sight of this true limitless core that God has given to us. In my mentoring and coaching program, one of the exercises that I share with my students to really crystallize their internal vision is to write out a vision statement. So I would encourage you to do the same. We can do it right here, and I'll share with you some of the things you may want to consider as you write out your statement. Now, before I do this, let me say that this is so critical. Okay. I can remember when I first started to go and study personal development. And after being in business for a little while, I joined John Maxwell team to take things to the next level. And I remember prior to joining mentorship, I had read a lot of books on goal achieving, and I thought I knew it all. You remember Eric Hoffer? He said, in order for us to learn anything, it requires 2 degrees of confidence. First, if we have too little confidence, we think we cannot learn. And second, if we have too much confidence, worse yet, we think we don't have to. Well, I had fallen into the category where I thought I knew it all about goal setting. After all, I was an accomplished military scientist. I had stood up communities of interest and wrote reports that went to the president. And I can remember one of our mentors. He was coaching a group of us, repeating over and over and over, you got to have a goal, got to have a goal. And I'm getting irritated. I'm like, yeah, I know all that, but how do I get this money? See, I was already out of about $300,000 of the debt that I had. I got $500,000 more to go. That's a goal. That's a goal. I got to go. Well, the truth is, what I really knew about goal setting, I could probably have written it on the back of a postage stamp and I'd still have room. Because I had never sat down to write out the goal. I'd never done what it is I claimed I knew. I thought I knew it, but I didn't do it. So as I share this exercise, please don't let the simplicity of what I'm sharing with you derail you from actually doing the exercise. So this is the exercise. This is the process of really living in and from this power principle of vision. Number one is you want to write out your vision in the present tense as though it's already been completed. So, for example, if we're writing, one day I will have the house of my dreams, we want to write it like, right now I'm living in the house of my dreams. See, we're going to change from what I will have to what I am now living in present tense. Second, we want to be very specific. So, after all, if you're the architect of your dream and your future, well, what does that house look like? What does it literally look like? How large is it? Where is it located? How many bedrooms does it have? All right. And you might like to do what I did. I don't always feel like I'm the most creative person. And I'm gonna see if I can pull this up for you. I may not always feel like I'm the most creative person in the world. And so I went around and went driving around and found different houses that I thought, I could look at this and look at that. And then I began to learn about them. And then I realized, no, I don't want that house after all. And I'm trying to pull it up on my phone, but I have all the things that I took over today with our classes and stuff. So I can't pull it up. It's taking me too long to scroll down to where it is. Um, But as soon as I get them off my phone, the house will be up at the top again. Uh, for me, I found the perfect piece of land. I found the perfect piece of land. It had the views I wanted. It had the seclusion I wanted, but it was close enough to the airport. It was everything that I wanted. And it just so happened that the gates were open because they were expecting a delivery. We didn't know that at the time. I was like, oh, the gate's open. Let's go check it out. And as we were there, they made the delivery and we realized, oh, that was why they opened up the gates. But me and my little one, we got a nice drive around, and I made a video of us driving around, and he is convinced that that is his house, not my house, his house. So we really want to visualize it. We want to know what is it down to the details. What does it look like? How large is it? Where is it at? How many bedrooms? What are the views like? Where do you see the sunsets? Where do you see the sunrises? Where do you take your morning devotional? What is your kitchen like? Like all of those things, like the details. We want to make it real to us. Okay? So number 3 is we want to become emotionally involved in the vision that we've created. How does living in this home allow you to feel? How would you be feeling to live the lifestyle of that home? What would your emotional state be? Defining your emotional state allows you to create the vibration of expectation that I talked about earlier. Now, number 4, why don't you take some time to identify the people that you want in your life? Who would be with you on this journey? If you're living, if you're living that which is trying to emerge from your soul, who would be the people in your life? And number 5, what beliefs and values would you be holding and living from if you were fully present in this vision? Chances are some of the things that you believe now will have to change in order for this vision to be realized in your life. And some of the things that you value now may become less important, and you might develop a whole new set of values. Other values may become more solidified. Well, what does this new set of beliefs and values look like? Think of this as a journal entry about your actions and note your feelings and sights and sounds that surround you. This exercise can help you further define and clarify your purpose and goals by creating emotional impact and attachment and positive energy regarding your vision. So, just like the Olympic skier is able to mentally meet her goal of success before it becomes a physical reality as she flies down the mountain, and that vibration of expectation that you create, that energy of expectation that you create, will allow you to fashion the specific goals to make your vision a successful reality. You are then making real progress towards your life's purpose. The vision that you create for yourself, and over the years, you'll have many, okay, must be clear, that you bring it into your conscious easily, like Kennedy's vision of reaching the moon. Vision serves as the connector between your life's purpose and the goals you will set to realize it. And as you continue, you'll see how all of these power principles will provide an awareness of all your resources, strategies, and tactics to further strengthen your own vision, life's purpose, and resolve. And I ask you, even if you're a little bit skeptical, to remain open to this potential reality of the limitless future God has for you, and listen to the remaining principles from this open minded state. Be very present. See, if you sense that spark, if you can feel the possibility awakening inside you, know that you have all the resources necessary to support you on your journey. I invite you, if you would like some help on this journey, to join me in one of my mentorship or coaching programs. You can take part in the step by step program or be part of a group of committed people who are willing to give you support, hold you accountable, help you clarify your vision. I'm totally confident that you will fulfill your vision. I want to thank you for listening. This has been JJ Conway on Power Principle number 3, Vision. And speaking of vision, remember how I like to encourage you to nurture your vision. Well, I think I am going to end it for there because I have seen no movement on the Facebook, no chats, no nothing. And even though it says I'm broadcasting to YouTube, I'm a little uncomfortable about not broadcasting to the primary audience. So we're going to see if we can figure out what happened here, and maybe we'll come back tomorrow with a replay or something like that. When I do come back, we'll talk about persistence And then you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking we need to do a little reprise on Think and Grow Rich. So we'll have to figure out how to program that in this week, okay? But for now, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Y'all take care and be blessed.